Hey, all right, guys. It's me. I'm back. Froggy, STS's Quest. Hey, I'm pretty excited. Normally, I dress up a little bit for the camera, but this is a new hoodie I got. Really leaning into the whole frog thing, so I'm pretty excited about it. I'm just pretty stoked. I just Googled frog hoodies, and it's like the ones of top hits on Etsy. I was really nervous whenever you order. Okay. Starting out, this is going to be a lion's share, chapter 5. And I think, yeah, I found a clue or two, and yeah, so there is some stuff coming, but I just wanted to address the frog in the room. I don't know. I'm pretty excited about it. I just wanted to share. I'm planning on wearing. Hopefully it's lucky. I'm planning on wearing my this hoodie for the poker tournament for TreasureCon, which is coming up in like 2 weeks. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, seekingtreasurecon.com, something like that. But it's treasure conference hosted by Calazar. They had someone in their clique, I guess, or Discord, fronted a bunch of money to rent out like a conference center, a room over in Vegas, and so then they're charging at the door, a little bit discount if you go early. And they invited me because I have my treasure hunts, Estes Quest 1 and 2. So I'm going to be speaking with a panel of a couple other treasure hunt creators about creating treasure hunts and my experience with that so far. So that's all coming. That's pretty excited. I figured, man, I got to get some frog swag. So I saw this hoodie and I'm pretty excited about it. All right. A minute and a half. Most of you guys don't care about that. But now to get into the good stuff. Okay. So there's a couple things in chapter 5. But the main thing I wanted to was a couple people had asked, where are you getting this only one clue per chapter thing? And I knew I had gotten it from somewhere. I didn't have it readily available, but I found it again. So we're looking at page 10. All right, page 10, which is part of the introduction, okay? And it's kind of telling you how to read, so it's kind of the instructions for the game, right? So 10, where we at? I really don't want to underline anything in this book. So 10, we're about halfway down, for instance. Okay, here we go. So the paragraph starts with the fifth and final box, about halfway down, page 10. And we're looking at the end of that paragraph, a sentence starting with and. Although, are you supposed to start a sentence with and? I don't know. We'll go the sentence before that. For instance. Well, now I don't know if you should start a sentence with for. Now I want to start the sentence before that. Okay. I'll just read the whole paragraph. All right. The fifth and final box is substantially larger than the other 4 boxes and contains inside it the lion's share of our valuable trove. The emphasis and accents I'm putting on the words are my own, but they make sense to me. There is no one particular chapter solely devoted to helping you find this larger treasure box. Instead, the clues and hints that will lead you to its hiding place may be found anywhere inside this book. I think it's interesting that he said anywhere versus any chapter. Anywhere inside this book. Shout out to, I was just in a speakeasy session, which I had to leave to do this video, with Joe, Patch, Farm Girl, Chained, and they reminded me, I'd heard it before, but don't forget about the table of contents. Okay. Anywhere inside this book. For instance, there may be helpful information found here in this introduction. There may be, yeah. And almost every chapter in part 1 of this book offers at least one important detail to help guide you to the location of the largest box. You're free to search. Okay, it's kind of a new thought. So let's pause right there for a second. So this is how I'm interpreting this. Again, my own interpretation is that for the lion's share, there's not going to be like 100 clues, right? Every chapter, to me, there's not like a dozen clues per chapter, or not even like 5 per chapter. I think there are themes that kind of, people have said threads and themes throughout the book. I think there's instructions, And all those I separate from clues, right? I separate threads, themes, instructions from clues. So I think, so far most of my solves have come into being, come into play by following his words. I think it's until he gives us reason to doubt him or question him, which okay, I'll question and doubt here and there, but I'm not going to build a solution off of questions and doubts until he's given us a reason for it. So I'm taking it as him at his word, saying that there's at least one, most of the time, actionable clue per chapter. Some of them have more. Now, if I'm going to call out, hey, there's one in every one, I think it's reasonable logic to go and say, okay, some have two, some have three. I don't think it's a good puzzle maker. I don't think it's a good puzzle, and I don't think it's one, like 4 or 5 chapters have one clue, and like 2 chapters have 8 clues. Me personally, I don't know if I buy that right now. Everything is subject to change. Caveat on everything that I say, because the more time goes by with nobody finding a box, we'll try more and more outside the wall ideas and tactics to find this thing. So let's go over that one more time, all right? And again, if this is not your, this is kind of the way the video is going to go. This is kind of the way the rest of this walkthrough through the lion's share is going to go. I'm on chapter 5 today. I'm going to be doing, each video will have a different chapter, and we'll go through all 24 chapters that way. Now, I do plan on returning to the lion's share chapters individually. I plan on doing a recap video, and maybe the next time we go through, depending on how much has been found or shared, I might change it and look for more clues, more details. But for right now, I'm trying to find at least, I'm going to cover my bases and say 3. I figure if I find at least 3, there's a good chance one of those is correct, and there's a good chance I've covered most of the things that could be in there. All right, let's go over one more time. Here we go, page 10 again. Because this is all about the lion's share, right? We're focusing this video on the lion's share, chapter 5. The 5th and final box is substantially larger than the other 4 boxes and contains inside it the lion's share of our valuable trove. There is no one particular chapter solely devoted to helping you find this larger treasure box. So again, I'm taking him as word. I think if you find 1 or even 2, I'll say even 2. I don't want to say 3. I'll say 3. I won't say 4. 1, 2, or 3. And if your solve bases off of those 1, 2, or 3 chapters, I don't think that's what he's saying. And if that is the case, then now we can apply that rule to the rest of the book, that he doesn't say what he means. Is that harsh, or is that too? I don't know. It's just a dude on the internet making guesses at a treasure, right? All right. So going back to there. There is no one particular chapter solely devoted to helping you find this larger treasure box. Instead, the clues and hints, right? And so to me, clue is actionable, hint is thread, theme, all right? That will lead you to its hiding place may be found anywhere inside this book, anywhere. Pictures, images, table of contents, poems. There's more treasure in the back section. For instance, there may be helpful information found here in the introduction. And almost every chapter in part 1 of this book offers at least one important detail to help guide you to the location of the largest box. All right, I think that's all I wanted to cover for there. There's definitely a lot of juice here in the introduction, but that's for another time. All right, so now we're going to get into the meat of this video, chapter 5. And spoiler alert, I think this is one of the 1 clue chapters. All right. Here we go. Masterworks by Art Smith, an exercise in faith. So this one, right off the bat, you see a quote on that first page, which is, interesting. To have a quote 1 paragraph into a chapter, kind of a bold choice. Thomas Aquinas, all right. was a movie I saw recently where one of the main characters, I was always quoting Thomas Aquinas. Was it Gladiator? Was it The Count of Monte Cristo? Thomas Aquinas. I don't know. I'll make it sidetracked. If you know what movie I'm talking about, it's like a big blockbuster, like an action movie, action thriller, kind of old timey, and the character has a book of Thomas Aquinas or mentions a quote. I don't know. Anyways, has nothing to do with this, but it may have something to do with the treasure, which is why I brought it up to begin with. That so far of the 5, let's go back and double check, of the 4 other chapters that we covered, I'm not seeing any quotes. I mean, there's 2 quotes in the front, granted, yeah, but no quotes in the actual text. So, first time it happens, the first time anything is introduced in a story is always significant, right? That's a rule of like filmmaking or storytelling. The first time something's introduced. So, first time a quote is here. And funnily enough, oddly enough, this chapter has 2 quotes. All right, so again, I don't take anything much from the first paragraph. It's just a rule I made up that may bite me later. But we do have a quote here, and it's not an original quote, right? It's a real quote. So for him to make it fit, it would have to be a small detail that is changed in the quote, or it'd have to be he's used a clue, or there's some kind of puzzle or some kind of work manufacturing you do to the words in the quote to produce a hint or a clue. All right, so then it goes on to, the vivacious child, right? Interesting word, but not really unique. I mean, it's a good descriptive word and it fits. Talks about the mom a little bit, then goes into the son. Talks to Art Smith, the main character. There's no real stories inside of stories in this one, which is one of the themes that I'm looking for, or themes or threads I'm looking for. We're looking at the photos, right? So the first photo, it fits, it makes sense. There's no caption to that first picture, so you're like, oh, what's going on here? No caption. But the caption is 2 pages away. On page 58, it says, these are the first 2 of the 4 pieces, all right? So it mentions it is covered. Now we go on, we're looking at page 60 and 61. So page 60 has the other quote, right? Right there, other quote. And page 61 has the famous dancers, which I think is my most viewed video on TikTok, which is surprising because I didn't really say much. I'm just like, hey, look at these dancers. I think there's something there. I don't know, the algorithm is weird sometimes. And I have like entire solves and like big clues that have like 100 views. Really weird. Anyways, this picture is interesting to me for a few things. One of them is it's not referenced. I could have sworn it was referenced on page 60. I could have thought that like somewhere in the text of page 60 it said on your opposite page, or like the dancers on the opposite page. And I don't see that. I mean, shout it out if throw something in the chat if you're watching this video and you actually come across a place in the text that he references the photo. But I'm not seeing it. I don't know, maybe I'm blind. But so it goes on about, dancing. I mean, it talks about dancing and the dance troupe and his jewelry. And I get the representation. Like, I would say this fits it's not like Scotty that like, oh, that this picture doesn't fit. Like, this picture fits. It's just not referenced at all. Which in almost every chapter, there's something odd with the photos, being that the photo doesn't fit, a photo's reversed or mirrored. The Emerald chapter, I mean, you have 65 to 70 treasures. You have so many things to talk about in this book, and you use the same item twice in the same chapter. Yeah, I get the magnifying glass is pictured a couple times, but in the same chapter, like, come on, that's weird, right? Interesting. Yeah, so that something's up with this photo. Okay, going on. And is it a photo, right? There's no, I don't see any artist names, even though in the bottom, it kind of looked like down here in this corner, it kind of looked like an artist signature. And as far as crediting artist acknowledgements, right? It kind of says, on page 246, he kind of calls out anybody who helped him out and who did any artwork, right? So if it's not credited or titled, it's pretty much assumed to be his own. Which, by the way, the 3 quotes on page 241, I don't want to skip around too much, but I am. Page 241, these 3 quotes, I haven't heard too much publicly said about them. And in light of the introductions comments, you can find clues anywhere in the book that might be worth something. Another video for another day. But continuing on, moving past the dancers, we go to another picture. This piece of our treasure is a freeform sterling ring. All right, yeah, you know it's there, and then we wrap it up, right? So the one thing, if we're looking for the themes of mirrors, of the color blue, of stories and stories, details, I would say as far as details go, no words kind of popped out, other than this, page 53, first paragraph. I can imagine a day in the not so distant future. He's talking about AI, which is a hot topic. And I think he would know, with his time spent in the discords and treasure hunting for Forest Fens, he would know that people are going to try to use AI to digest his book and find stuff. And so he kind of addresses that, maybe a little winking at us. But listen to this sentence. AI will probably even share a perspective or 3. So similar to that bee on a pistol saying, that's not really a saying, share a perspective or 3. I don't know if I've heard that. Google doesn't really return anything. AI produces some gibberish. Let me know what you think about that. If it's just JCB being JCB, using silly words to try to throw us off, or is he saying, you know, the numbers 3 and 5 seem to pop up a lot in the book. But I just thought that was interesting. AI will probably even share a perspective or 3. Most of the time, that phrase is a perspective or 2. It's something or 2, like a thought or 2, or I'll play a game or 2, or I'll have a drink or 2, or a snack or 2. I don't know, or not, or 3 that I've heard of. Let me know if you're if where you're from, your neck of the woods, they say let's play a game or 3, or you know, let's go for a walk or 3. If that's what you say, I mean, let me know. But that's one of the details, right? If we're looking for themes, blue mirrored details. The other one is, and I don't really like this one. It's a stretch. I'm trying to force 2 things out of this chapter, that there may only be one. But his conversation with his friend, unnamed friend, by the way, the whole chapter is sandwiched in between. There's kind of a mirror. So, all right, so starts out, and this is why I don't like it, because it's in the introduction, and it kind of breaks my own little rule. But maybe it doesn't. Okay, let me just let's dive into it real quick. Recently I had a conversation with a good friend about the meaning of the word faith. So that's how he introduces it. And then at the end he goes, he says, I should add, I don't begrudge my good friend, so it's the same title, good friend, for confusing my faith with hope. All right, so faith is before hope. Let's go back to the front. My friend understood the word faith to be referring to hope. So it's the same. It's not mirrored. It's faith before hope. Faith before hope. It's good friend. It's good friend. Having to know anyone exists. Faith is yeah. Then it goes into faith. Yeah, was advocated, eager to give a helping hand. So if I were to, and I don't want to skip over that. That's pretty important to me, because anytime he mentions this treasure hunt, I think we should clue in. So the idea for this treasure hunt came in a moment of inspiration, and I get that he's introducing the concept of inspiration. I get that, but requires you and me to be open and available to it. When we are, it's an advocate eager to give a helping hand. Its guidance can be so clear and direct that sometimes a dash of inspiration is all the treasure hunter really needs. So we're looking for help and hints and clues, right? And this talks about how faith can give a helping hand. Well, if maybe he's being cute with the wordplay there, maybe all you people, everybody who is trying out ciphers and all kinds of complex code breaking stuff for the lion's share, not just past and the future, maybe faith is one of the words you want to try out, right? Everybody tries out joy. It's kind of short. Most codes are at least, 4 to 5 letters. 3 is kind of short. Unless you use joys with the S at the end, because sometimes there's an apostrophe when he refers to it. So if you want to use joys, if you want to use faith, could be one. Hope would be a less important one, because he kind of puts faith over hope in this one. But those are words that I try. I'm not trying them because I don't really, I don't want to say I don't believe that path right now. It's just not for me right now. And again, anytime I hope I don't come across as dismissive towards something. It's just, I have a limited amount of time to work and to produce content, and to work my own thoughts and my own solves. And I have to choose what roads to go down. And I tend to lead toward roads that I'm better at, in my mind, at analyzing. And that's just a weak spot for me. And I know others are really strong at it. So I do not want to be dismissive at all. It's just more like, hey, I trust that you're really good at it. And if you want to share what you come up with, that's fine. I'm going to go down paths that I'm more comfortable at. And I definitely will share with whatever I come up with. So if you've shared something with me, privately in Discord, or YouTube, or an email, and I haven't sounded super excited about it, I am excited. One, I'm honored that you trusted me. Two, it's great to know that you're working down that thread that I'm not, because I've always said the more people go down more roads, the better chance we'll have at finding a box. And yeah, so it's not personal. It's just something that I'm not good at, whatever you're asking me to do. But some of the stuff I do think I'm good at, and so I will hit you up with that, and we'll dialogue. But a quick recap of everything we've got so far is so chapters 1 to 5. We've got our roadmap. We're looking for themes and threads throughout the chapters. So far, I think we're still introductory. So themes and threads are still being introduced for the first time. Some of them have already been repeated. We're looking for mirrors. We're looking for duplicates, right? Anything that's mirrored or duplicate, I think, is significant. The concept was introduced early on, and I think we should continue to follow that. We're looking at details. Me personally, I'm not looking at visual artistic details. I'm looking at details in the words and formatting. What else? Most recently, we found hope and faith, some key words. We looked at something that was sandwiched. We saw some key phrases that popped up in the last couple of chapters. Be on a pistol, AI about a thought or 3. First, 3. Did I say blue already? And we heard a little bit about green. So these are all clues that we've got so far. And maybe once we're halfway through, like chapter 10 or 12, we can start trying to organize them and formulate a direction or a lead. In chapter 1, I said I was feeling Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan. That may have been more hopeful thinking. Me trying to force words that aren't there, because I haven't really seen anything since then that justify that. What else? That's it. I think that's a good amount for today. Why haven't I gotten back to Joy Serenade? A few people have asked. Because I think I may have preempted it. I should have, in hindsight, done the lion's share chapters 1 through 24 before I even started Joy Serenade, because I'm breaking the rules of what JCB has told me to. I just got so excited with Joy Serenade with Will's Straight Edge. Will's Straight Edge just led me straight there and skip over everything else. But we'll see. I don't know. I hop all over the place. Maybe that's why I'm froggy, right? I just hop all over the book. No real progress on, I don't want to say no progress, but none of my solves have really evolved. I still think Pokemon, well, let's go in order. I still think Fen is in the gates of Lador, around that area, Browns Park, Browns Canyon, Browns Hole. As much as I don't like the word brown is right there, at least it's in that general area, specifically around the ranger station and the campsites there. So I still think that's there. What's next? So Past and the Future, is that next? No, Pokemon's next. Pokemon, even though Koi came back with a great intelligence and great work running that to ground, I still think that's my number one spot, is Steel Creek campground right around the BNR, the other side, the Granny Henderson side of the river. I will tell you this, I am trying something new out. So, and this is pretty crazy, pretty far out there. But so he said, let's get into it a little bit. Why not? Why not? We're here. Mainly because I want people to say that's dumb in the comments, or yeah, go on and do it, even if you're sarcastic and you want me to just waste my time going into it. Okay, so we're looking at page 212. All right, 5.5 years old, camper, 2-week vacation. Okay, depart from Statesville, 2-week vacation, Houston. Okay, here we go. Our excursion would be circular. We'd head southwest through New Orleans, then make our trek back toward the Ozarks. This was my first long road trip, and I brimmed to the rim with excitement. All right, so some of the controversy or some of the comments about this chapter are toward the end when he says, circled back. He says. Sorry. Dead space. Page 217. Because of all the precious memories at the top. Because of all the precious memories I had on my road trip to Houston, I decided it'd be fitting to leave a treasure box not far from some place I visited along that journey. All right, so here's what people are saying. Because of all the precious memories I had of my road trip to Houston, I decided it'd be fitting to leave a box not far from some place I visited along that journey. They're putting the emphasis there. We don't know where the emphasis is because we're just reading text. So they're saying the box was placed on the road trip to Houston, meaning the southern route. Statesville to Houston, the southern route, going through New Orleans. At the front, he says, our destination was Houston, Texas. Our excursion would be circular. We'd head southwest through New Orleans and then make our trek back past the Ozarks. All right, so this is the new thing I'm trying out, and it's a little crazy. But because I've come up with zero luck looking in Houston, Louisiana, Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, I'm not looking in North Carolina. Because I've got zero luck looking in those states, I'm not even looking in Tennessee either. Maybe I should. I've expanded my search. And here's why. It's based, if people can use the words on my trip to Houston as justification for it's only along the southern route, I'm using circular path. And I made a circle with a diameter, Statesville and Houston, and it's a massive circle, like a legit circle. The top of it goes all the way like past St. Louis. We're talking like halfway in Illinois. Now, do I personally believe that that's what he means? No. I mean, who am I to interpret what he means, right? That's just I don't think so. I'm thinking oval because oval is circular, right? He didn't say circle, he said circular. So I'm thinking, oval shaped, round trip, and that was my original circle, and that kind of fit up with Buffalo National River. But I'm striking out with a plan B, so why not force the map to fit my own bias, right? Right. So now I'm looking in southern Illinois, which seems crazy, but here we are. I have to redo my whole map and see what that looks like with the other boxes and the geography. And I've got a few things that fit, because I've got some stuff that fits up with bison. I've got some Native American elements. I've got some even hemmed in. So nothing really neat enough package to announce. And when I do, there'll be a big fat caveat that, hey, look, this is pretty far north, but everything matches up. So do with it what you will. But I didn't mean to go into all that, but that's there. All right, that's where we're at with Lion's Share, and that's a little bit tidbit about Pokemon. Everything else, I'm still the same. So I covered all 4 boxes. No, I missed Past and Future. That way I'm at, I think I've done a video on this, Trinity Alps Wilderness, which is just beautiful. I really want to go there just personally. It looks amazing. I want to do that overnight to the Canyon Lakes. They're beautiful blue, Sapphire Lake, all kinds of peaks, the peakiest peaks you've ever peaked. I'm really stoked on that spot. That might be one of my strongest gut feelings. All right, but unfortunately we can't know because the road's like shut down for now. So as of where I'm at right now, only the Pokemon box is down south. And Virginia is in between. Okay, we'll say Pokemon Virginia South. Fen, Lion's Share, and Past and Future are all covered in snow. All right, that's I need to come up with a better way to like end these because it's just like so abrupt. Like, bye. Good luck.